Access Reproductive Justice is California's only statewide standalone abortion fund and practical support organization. So essentially, we help people in California and folks who are traveling to California with accessing any support they may need in getting their abortion. So we help pay for the procedure itself. We also help folks with transportation, lodging, childcare, and any other needs that they may have as they're traveling to access their abortion care. And we pair that work with our volunteer engagement work and our policy advocacy work to make sure that we have a strong network of volunteers who can support our callers with rides, lodging, cash assistance. And we also do policy advocacy work. So based on the stories we hear from our callers and the barriers that they're facing in accessing care, we try to push for policy change to better their livelihoods and the livelihoods of their community members. My initial reaction is I'm not surprised, and also it's still incredibly gutting to have Roe v. Wade be overturned. I think, we very much, Access Reproductive Justice very much understands that the courts are not going to save us. The federal government is not going to save us. So in a lot of ways, there is a lack of shock in this moment, but it doesn't make it any less difficult, particularly for the many folks who will immediately have increased barriers to accessing care. So we're very lucky in California that our state is supportive of abortion rights and abortion access. And so abortion will still be legal and accessible here in the state of California. And we're deeply grateful for that. I think, we certainly understand that we're going to see an increase of people coming from other states to California to access their abortion care, which will undoubtedly put strains on our abortion healthcare system here in the state of California. We've very much been preparing for that moment, ensuring that we have a strong provider workforce, and that we have systems and processes in place to support this influx of people. But undoubtedly, wait times are going to increase at clinics. Providers are going to be asked to provide more abortion care and support to people. And organizations like ours are going to be supporting patients who have just, a number of barriers that they're working to overcome as they try to get here to California to access their care. So, I really will say this. I think abortion funds are uniquely positioned to lead in this moment. We were really built for this environment. For decades, we've been showing up to help relieve the burden for people who face economic barriers or other barriers to accessing abortion care. Through financial and practical support, abortion funds are very much skilled in helping community members overcome these obstacles and these barriers. And so I very much feel like Access Reproductive Justice's role in this moment is to continue the work that we've done for over 30 years, and to continue to be a safe space where folks can come to us and seek the support and the love and the care that they need to make the decisions that are most important and most attuned to what they need. Really, it is really hard to anticipate. We have already seen a doubling of our numbers every month this year. And so we anticipate that even before this decision came down from the Supreme Court, that we were going to support close to 1,000 callers in this calendar year. And I think with the decision that came down, we can likely expect that number would at least double. The Guttmacher Institute has really valuable data that indicates that with the complete fall of Roe, there are now about 1.3, 1.4 million folks whose nearest clinic, uh, num 1.3, 1.4 million folks of reproductive age whose nearest clinic is now in California. Doesn't mean all of those people are going to get pregnant, doesn't mean all those people are going to need an abortion, and it's certainly not going to happen all at the same time. But that gives us a bit of a sense of what the increase could look like. And we also know that people's travel patterns are not just about proximity to a clinic, it's about whether they have a support person in the state that they're traveling to, whether they can find a cheap airfare, whether they can get coordinated support. It may be that a clinic in their home state refers them to a clinic in a far off state because they have a relationship already. And so there are a lot of factors that come into play, but I think we can certainly anticipate a significant increase in callers to our health line. And not only that, increased barriers that they're experiencing to accessing the care that they need. The majority of our callers now are low income folks. The majority identify as Black, Indigenous people of color. And the majority of our callers are also on some kind of public assistance, including Medi-Cal. And yet they're still facing barriers to accessing care. We also support a lot of folks who are traveling from the more rural parts of the state to the more urban or suburban parts of the state where there are more abortion providers and clinics easily accessible. So, we're really supporting the folks who have been historically marginalized, both in California and nationally. And we know that those are the folks who are going to continue to face barriers in this time. That of course includes young people, that includes people who are already parents who are making the decision not to be parents again, whether by choice or necessity. And yeah, like I said, it is majority people of color who are already facing racism in accessing their healthcare or in accessing other support services in community. So this work is really about economic justice. It's about immigrant justice, LGBTQ plus liberation, and so many of the issues that we all care about. We certainly see a lot of folks calling our health line from the most northern parts of California, as well as the Central Valley, and further inland within the state of California. That tends to be where there are less abortion clinics and abortion providers readily available. We also know that 40% of California counties have no abortion providers whatsoever. And that just means increased barriers for those folks. They have to travel to another city to access care. If they're having a multiple day procedure, they have to stay overnight in an unknown city where they likely will need lodging support. A lot of times it takes a bus and a train to get them from whatever rural community they might be in into a major city. And it can be sometimes inconvenient hours, the crack of dawn or very late at night where the buses are available for them to travel. I think what we'll see in this moment is folks will be coming from other states, mostly to our major cities to access abortion care, right? So San Diego, Los Angeles area, San Francisco, and the Bay Area, which is also where folks from rural areas come to access care. So the rural Californians may find that there are increased wait times to access abortion in the more populated parts of the state, just because it will not just be, and nor has it ever been, just Californians trying to access care in those populated cities, but there'll be an influx of patients coming. So those are some of the barriers that folks have experienced and, where we anticipate there may be some increased barriers. California's role in a post-Roe world is really to show up for the nation where their state governments and the federal government has failed. Um, I don't think this is a permanent or long-term solution because people do deserve to access abortion care in their homes, in their communities, in their cities, in their states. But until we have, you know, liberated abortion in every city and state across the country, California is really playing a role of being a safe place and a welcoming place where folks from other states that are not friendly to abortion can come and access the care that they deserve. That is their human right. And, I think California is really acting as mutual aid, supporting our neighbors, supporting our friends, supporting our family members. And that is truly because of a failure of many state governments as well as the federal government. Absolutely. I mean, it is crucial that we support abortion funds in this moment. To learn about your local abortion fund, you can go to abortionfunds.org, and there's a list of over 90 abortion funds that exist across the country. And abortion funds really do depend on the donations of individuals to fund our health lines, to fund our hotlines, to get money into the hands of abortion patients. Also, many of us are looking for volunteers, and you can find more information about that on our website, accessrj.org here in California. We're always looking for folks who are able to drive people to appointments, to provide cash assistance to folks for gas money, for childcare, etc. But I do think it's super important that people support local community-based organizations that have been doing this work for a long time and are uniquely prepared for this moment.